Hello! Welcome to our radio show. This program is all about having fun conversations with our guests about everyday topics and much more. Today's guest is Matthew. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Today's topic is about men who split the bill on the first date. Matthew, how do you handle paying on a first date?
In most cases, I'd pay. Unless something really unusual happens. If my date's attitude is really bad, then I might reconsider.
I see. According to some women's opinions, if a guy splits the bill on the first date, it feels like he doesn't value me.
Yeah, I get that. But there's another perspective too. Some people say splitting the bill helps establish an equal relationship and gives insight into the other person's values.
That's true. In fact, a survey showed that about 60% of women prefer that men cover the entire bill on a first date, while 30% are okay with splitting it, and 10% actually prefer to pay themselves.
Huh, I didn't expect that. So, there are more women who don't mind splitting than I thought. But still, the majority seem to prefer men paying.
Right. Many women feel that at least for the first time, the man should take the lead. Or I want to see if he's generous. On the other hand, some say, if a guy splits the bill right away, he's out of my romantic interest.
I see. What about men's opinions on this?
There's an interesting survey about that too. It found that about 50% of men prefer to cover the entire bill, 40% prefer to split it, and 10% think their date should pay.
That's interesting. So, quite a few men actually prefer splitting too. I guess that makes sense, since gender equality is becoming more important and many people want a balanced relationship.
Right. But how people feel about splitting the bill varies depending on culture and personal values. For example, in many Western countries, splitting the bill is common, and in Japan, more women are also starting to accept it.
That's true. But if we look at how things were in the past, it's pretty different. A few decades ago, it was almost unheard of for a woman to pay on a date. Back then, men were expected to be the financial providers, and dating was no exception. If a man even suggested splitting the bill, it could be seen as a lack of chivalry or financial stability.
Exactly. Our grandparents' generation, for example, would probably be shocked to hear about this discussion. Many women at the time were financially dependent on men, so naturally, men covering the bill was the norm. But now, with more women being financially independent, the way we approach dating has changed too.
That shift is also what led to the rise of debates like this one. Some men now say, if she doesn't even pretend to take out her wallet, that's a red flag.
Oh yes, I've heard that argument a lot. Some guys feel that even if they plan to pay, they still want their date to at least offer to contribute. Otherwise, they feel like she's just expecting a free meal without showing any appreciation.
Right. But on the other side, there's a common counterargument from women. We spend money on makeup, outfits, hair, and even nails to look good for the date. That's an investment. The least he can do is cover dinner.
That's a heated debate. It's true that women often spend more on appearance, especially for a first date. But some people argue that looking good isn't just for the guy, it's also for themselves.
That's an interesting point. Some guys counter that by saying, we also pay for things like gym memberships, nice clothes, and even expensive cologne to be attractive. So it goes both ways.
So, basically, both sides feel they're investing in the date in different ways. The question is, should financial contributions be expected to match those investments?
That's where personal values come in, I think. Some men genuinely feel it's their role to pay, while others feel that expecting them to cover everything is outdated. Likewise, some women feel that being treated is part of the dating experience, while others prefer financial independence.
It really depends on the individual. Actually, I remember one of my dates where the guy insisted on paying. But I still took out my wallet just to be polite. He smiled and said, "I appreciate that you offered, but I got this." That small interaction made me respect him more because it felt like he wasn't just blindly paying. He was doing it as a thoughtful gesture.
That's a great example. On the flip side, I once went on a date where I paid, but when I jokingly said, "You'll get the next one, right?" she laughed and said, "Oh, I don't pay for dates." That was the last time I saw her.
Wow, that's pretty blunt. That's the kind of attitude that can make guys hesitant to pay.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's not just about the money, it's about mutual respect and expectations.
Well said. So, we've talked about who should pay on a first date, how times have changed, and how different perspectives clash on this issue. What do you all think?
Let us know your thoughts in the comments or messages.
See you next time on our radio show.